Hello, Dev Borodis New, and welcome back to the Quasi Talks, the podcast where we don't chase our dreams, we let them take a nice afternoon nap and maybe meet them later at the bar. I'm Shashwat, and today we are talking about productivity, or as I like to call it, the national pastime of pretending to be busy while actually just opening and closing the same three apps. Now, before we dive into the scam, let me introduce you to the unofficial currency, the Emotional Budget Unit, or in short, EBU. Yes, I made it up. No, it's not in the syllabus, but it explains everything. Say, suppose every morning you wake up with 100 EBU. That's your emotional fuel tank. Full charge, like your phone at 7 am before Instagram eats it alive. Now, these 100 units aren't for doing big things. They are for surviving the day without crying in the bathroom or yelling at the pressure cooker. So here's how it works. Say suppose you reply to a polite email. 10 EBU gets credited. Smiling at someone you don't like. 15 EBU. Attending a Zoom meeting where no one knows why they are there. 20 EBU. Pretending to be fine at a family gathering, 30 EBU. And that's just before lunch. The goal isn't to end the day with all 100. That's impossible unless you are a coconut. The goal is to avoid hitting zero, because when you hit zero, you enter the emotional overdraft. So the next question is, what is emotional overdraft? This is when your body is present but your soul has left the WhatsApp group. You're lying on the sofa staring at the ceiling fan like it owes you money. You're choosing between roti and rice like a life or death decision. You're watching the same reel for the 17th time because your brain refuses to process new information. And here's the kicker. Most of your EBU isn't spent on actual work. It's spent on worrying about the work or pretending to be okay. On thinking about replying that email without actually replying. It's like emotional GST. You pay tax on thought, not on the action. Every morning you wake up, stretch like a cat that pays rent, and open your notes app, you write a to-do list. You feel powerful, like a CEO. Of what? No one knows. Let's examine this list. Workout. You wrote it just to feel morally superior. Reply to all the emails. Vague enough to ignore. Call plumber. Emotionally taxing, so you wait until the tap starts leaking. Is it a Bollywood song? This list isn't a productivity tool, it's a guilt buffet. And every time you look at it, you lose 5 EBU because it reminds you that you're not the person you pretended to be when you wrote it. Okay, let's say and consider that you actually finish one task. You reply to that one email from your boss that starts with, "Hope you're doing well." Spoiler, you're not. You feel good, plus 10 EBU. When you finish another task, plus 8 EBU. Then another, plus 6 EBU. But here's the twist. The more you do, the less it feels like an achievement. It's like eating bebinka. First slice is joy. Third slice is regret. Fifth slice is existential crisis. You have entered the productivity spiral. You're just chasing a high that keeps shrinking, and when you finally stop, you feel guilty because now you've tasted momentum and anything less feels like a failure. You have been successfully scammed by your own ambition. Let's move on to the next and let's talk about the sofa, the emotional Switzerland of your house. You sit down just for 5 minutes. You scroll, you snack, you watch a YouTube video titled "How to be Productive in 2025." You know you should get up, but the sofa has you in a psychological headlock. And every minute you stay, you lose 2 EBU. Not because you're lazy, but because you're aware that you're not doing what you should. This is not rest. This is guilt in soft furnishing. This is the sofa of resistance and it's winning. Now let's talk about fake productivity. The things we do to feel productive without actually doing anything. Rearranging your desktop icons by color plus 3 EBU. Renaming folders from miscellaneous to important stuff plus 2 EBU. Watching a TED talk while lying in a bed like a burrito plus 1 EBU. Making a vision board with magazine cutouts and zero vision plus 5 EBU. Upfront minus 10 EBU later when you realize you have manifested nothing but back pain. These are micro wins. They feel good, they trick your brain, but they don't move the needle. Real productivity is boring. It's replying to that awkward email. It's fixing the leaking tap. It's studying for that exam you've been dodging since Ganesh Chaturthi. Fake productivity is aesthetic. Real productivity is invisible. And unfortunately, not Instagrammable. So now the question is, what to do when you hit the emotional bankruptcy? You activate the emergency protocol. This is your bhaad mein jao moment and it's sacred. So if you want to avoid all the mishap, this is the rule. You do one thing, just one. Wash one plate, reply to one message, fold one t-shirt, or just stare at the fan and contemplate your life choices. That counts too. Then you rest, guilt-free, because you have earned it. This is the emotional equivalent of paying the minimum due on your credit card. Not ideal, but it keeps the system running. And if anyone asks what you're doing, just say I'm resetting my nervous system. Sounds fancy. No one will even question it. So this week, don't chase productivity. Chase peace. Chase a cup of tea. Chase that one mosquito that has been haunting your room since last night. Track your emotional budget. Notice the tasks that drain you. Notice the ones that fake it. And most importantly, notice when you're doing things just to avoid guilt. Because sometimes the most productive thing you can do is nothing. And in Goa, we have been doing it since our birth. That's it for the episode of the Quasi Talks. I'm Shashwat and I hereby give you full permission to cancel one plan, wear the same t-shirt again, and eat Maggie without shame. Until next time, stay functional or at least slightly less guilty.